All right.
Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks for stopping back by. I have a great video for y'all today. We're gonna watch another Reisshub video. Yep, I know. Yep, another Reisshub video. This time it's going to be addressing a pretty unfortunate topic, and that is cheating as it's been happening through the years in Fortnite. And I think Reisshub has been a great voice in the community to like counter all the cheating that's been going on. So I do want to hear what he has to say about it. He made this video about 11 days ago. So I don't know what we're going to see here, but you know, when it's a Reisshub video, it's gonna be good. So let me get set up here and we will take a quick look-see here at this Reisshub video from 2 weeks ago. Enjoy.
Cheating is a big problem in competitive Fortnite. It started off as the Wild Wild West where anything could happen, but as the years went on and Fortnite's anti-cheat improved, the cheaters had to get smarter and evolve in order to continue stealing money from Epic Games.
That's the nature of all cheating throughout all of the history of gaming, though.
Cheaters are all constantly evolving to outsmart the anti-cheat.
So that's not unique to Fortnite or Fortnite's anti-cheat.
Something a lot of them would come to regret. This is the evolution of cheating in competitive Fortnite. The first instance of cheating in Fortnite, really any big tournament, happened in one of the first tournaments hosted. This was the Summer Skirmish of 2018, and in week 2, iDrop Bodies placed first, winning $60,000. However, also earned $20,000 for getting 20 eliminations in a game, since it was basically a pub stomping tournament, and another $50,000 for getting the most eliminations of any player. That's $130,000.
Oh my gosh. You really though? Really? $130,000? That's like, excuse me. I am really angry right now. When you're talking a fraction of $1 million, how is Epic Games okay with this? How? Like, you think they'd be like, timeout, real quick, timeout. But how much money did you say? You said $130,000 because the dude had a clever anti-cheat? Yeah, no, Epic. What are you doing? At that point, it's not even like financially responsible
of an event. And looking at his Fortnite tracker, he really didn't do
to
anything
allow
after
it.
this. He placed around 82nd in week 4 of the fall skirmish, and then around top 400 in the fall skirmish, and then he just completely vanished. Now, after his big first place in week 2 of the summer skirmish, he was reportedly invited to the finals of the event.
Let's do something about
this.
this.
It was a LAN in-person event. He was invited to do interviews. However, there were rumors that he turned down the event because he needed to pick up his cousin from the airport. However, it's extremely suspicious that he was such a top-level player and could win a tournament and then would not come and show up in person. Especially true when he didn't record or stream any of this tournament. Epic Games investigated him and confirmed that he was not cheating, but some people suspect that he was doing something to get easier lobbies at the time, or just downright cheating. Despite Epic Games clearing him, many people do not believe this story at all, and he basically vanished from the internet, so we'll probably never know what actually happened.
It's probably cheating, I'm just saying.
Was CIA Gov. His entire motive for cheating wasn't to earn money like a lot of the later cheaters we'd see, but instead to get recognition from streamers' live chat.
Oh my god, CIA.gov.
Pros playing the Explorer.
I forgot about him.
And just troll them. He'd fly around with a quad crasher and juggle the players into the sky. He truly had unlimited power as he could edit the island, and even if he was eliminated, which he did actually die to Vivid in one game, he could just respawn. He could basically do whatever he wanted. He had entire god mode cheats. Clearly in 2018, Fortnite's anti-cheat needed a little bit of work, and he stated he was able to actually do this for seasons without getting banned. However, I'm not sure how true this is because he didn't do really anything in the World Cup qualifiers, and you'd think this would be the perfect tournament to troll. Eventually, after he did get hardware,
honestly, I'm gonna scoot forward a little bit because like who hasn't heard of CIA.gov and the CIA.gov hacks? So I'm gonna just flash forward a bit here.
Tori's cases of cheating did come from
okay, hold on. I had to stop it. When I was fast forwarding, I wasn't recording. I was watching, but I wasn't recording. He said that CIA.gov is currently active in the cheating community. How do you like have a career as a cheater? Like, come on, especially in the same game. Yikes! Like, isn't there an IP blocker or something? I guess he's a real clever hacker, that one. Oh, CIA.gov. You silly goose.
qualifiers, and that was Zip. During week 3 of the solo qualifiers, Ziff was in a high point lobby and he was contested off spawn by 2 players, Bad and Muji and Guesty. These 2 players had the worst drops of all time and put up no fight and instantly died. This was very suspicious and was tweeted out by High Sky, which went viral.
Wait,
after
they're
an investigation,
cheaters?
Epic Games concluded that
Do away with them. Now. Right?
feeding elimination points to Ziff to help him qualify to the World Cup. This is obviously against the rules, so he was banned for 2 weeks, not very long, and Ziff had actually qualified to the World Cup finals, so he lost his qualification spot in solos. But what's funny is that Ziff is legitimately a good player. After getting unbanned, all of that teamwork from solos paid off, as he and Ronaldo was able to place 3rd in duos and actually qualify to the finals. Unsurprisingly, people were kind of annoyed about this. Let's go, Ziff. Good stuff, Epic Games. I love a good redemption story. Remember, kids, if you break the law or cheat, just wait 2 weeks and you'll get 50,000.
2 weeks in a tournament for money when you're like caught red-handed should be more than 2 weeks. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. I guess it's really not more complicated than that. 2 weeks is light work. Ugh. What do I even say to that? 2 weeks and he got caught in a
A tweeter
tournament.
qualifying for a $30 million tournament is a kick in the junk to the integrity of the Fortnite competitive community.
You don't
Love or hate the
say.
game,
Thank you,
this should be
Reisshub. Somebody
unanimously
needed to
agreed
say
upon.
it.
Every time they were shown on screen, they were booed by the entire crowd, and anytime they died, the crowd cheered.
That's great.
As brutal as this was for players, it was undeniably one of the funniest moments in Fortnite competitive history. Ziff
That's
now
awesome.
plays competitive Valorant at a pretty decent level, so it's clear that he is a great gamer, but that's not what he's really going to be remembered for.
No,
That wasn't
he's
the
going to be
only cheating
remembered
scandal
as a
at the World Cup, as one of the
cheater,
highest
pumpkin
profile
eater. He's going to be remembered as a
disqualifications
pumpkin
actually
eater.
happened during the finals, where Russia
I just got to take a second. That everybody we're talking about today, every last one of these people is a pumpkin eater. That's all I'm saying. Eating pumpkins like creeps in the field, by the ditch, by the highway near the river, or the creek bed. That's where you're gonna find these guys eating pumpkins because they're obsessed with it. Pumpkin eaters, every last one of them. Every last.
Wick was disqualified in Game 6 of the solos due to screen peeking at other screens around him. Now, he claimed that he heard a loud slam on a
Pumpkin
desk, which
eaters,
made him
man.
look
Pumpkin
over.
eaters,
However,
I'm
Epic
telling
responded
ya.
saying, after multiple warnings to the player, a penalty was assessed and he was removed from the match. He was not
Cheater,
disqualified,
pumpkin
he will
eater,
not
if
be fined.
anybody.
So basically, he kept looking at other people's
For
screens
those
to
of you
get
who have no
information,
idea what
and
I'm
disqualified
talking
him from the
about,
final
I'm
match.
talking
He
about
wasn't banned from the
cheater,
tournament,
pumpkin
he did
eater.
get his earnings,
Ever heard of
but he was
it?
basically not allowed to continue to play. After this, he kept playing tournaments more casually up until August of
These
last
cheaters
year.
are getting me
However, he
angry.
hasn't
I'm
earned
sorry.
since October
What do you
2021.
expect me to
Now, I'm
do?
not going to be talking too much about
My blood's
glitches in this
boiling.
video, as I already
I
have
can't
an
sit here
evolution
like
of glitches
no big
video
deal.
entirely, which
My
obviously
blood's
you can
boiling.
count as cheating. However, one is definitely worth mentioning here, and that is the ELO glitch. In the Winter Royale of
Oh, the
2019,
ELO
which was
glitch,
the
the old
$23
ELO glitch.
million
Resub is literally just giving a.
reset your points.
Listen, I appreciate it, Resub. I really do. The history of cheating. This is just incredibly thorough. A little more thorough than I thought he'd be. He's like all of these scandals everybody knows about. So, no offense, but let's get forward a little bit further to more recent allegations. I feel like everybody knows about this one, the ELO one, the CIA.gov. The players working together, all these scandals of cheating, but like that's not what everybody's mad about, old Resub, old buddy, old pal. Everybody's mad about the aimbot, the aimbot, the like rage hackers. CIA.gov was like a goofy. Okay? The rage hackers are the ones that were like upset about because there was a time when people, very, very what's the word? I guess rightfully so, could say that when you claimed to come across a hacker in Fortnite that you were more than likely incorrect. Okay, that like you're just a sore loser and you're looking for somebody to blame other than yourself. There was a time when that was true. In fact, I remember watching Cypher PK videos because I've always swore hackers were around, right? And I remember this one time watching a Cypher PK video where he claimed exactly that. He's like, in all actuality, you might have only came across like 3 hackers in your entire Fortnite career. And the game was like 5 or 6 years old at this point. And I remember thinking, bull crap. Like I see like one a week, right? But there was a time where you could make that argument and stand behind it, and the anti-cheat was that good. I also think Cypher was sort of riding for Epic, you know what I mean, and didn't want to say anything bad about him at the time. He became so affiliated and such a big name with the company that, um, it was hard for him to talk bad about it. But everybody knows now about the rage hackers and the aimbotters and the soft aimers and the Zens and what are they, the MCAs or whatever, the capture card second computer trick device. Those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. But there are multiple ways. That's what people are mad about, not these like goofy hackers through the years. No offense, Resub. It's very thorough, and a lot of people maybe don't know about this stuff, but I do. And as a result, we're gonna skip ahead.
Bucky and Creo traded Storm Surge damage with keys and slacks, and using the heals around them in Slurpy Swamp were able to waste
Alright, so
nothing
this is
from
the
their inventories,
scenario,
basically racking up Storm
the
Surge damage without any negatives. All 4
scandal
players were
that I was
banned for this,
referring to
despite
earlier
being
that
in
everybody knows
2025.
about.
This literally
The players
evolved
working
into
with
every
one
team doing
another.
this to the point the Storm Surge mechanic
So we
had
can
to
move
actually be
past
changed.
this one.
However, they were innovators of the
Moving
strategy
forward.
and were banned for it. It's just funny that Fortnite had just ended up accepting this later on. As it turns out,
They
Chapter
did,
2 actually
but
really
yeah.
had a lot
Early
of
on, it
different
was
types
considered
of teaming. Now, this
teaming.
season also helped 99% of people
All
are
right.
probably just teaming, including, and I probably would too.
So he's at the end of the
Teaming
teaming.
aside, hacking got way worse this chapter as
Boom.
cheaters found new way to push sales of their products.
Here we go.
Generally,
This
you
is
have
why I
the
wanted to watch.
developers, resellers, and then the users. The resellers started to become a big problem in chapter 2 as they started to stream themselves using the cheats, intentionally
I've
knowing
watched
that they would
hours
get
of these
However,
guys.
because they'd be streaming large tournaments, they'd pull big numbers as they openly rage hacked.
Yep.
They'd do this all while promoting their cheating discords for others to buy.
Yep.
They'd get banned from the game, but then
Mr. Hacker Pants.
back on a new account. And this
Loser.
became a big problem on Twitter as well, with many cheaters getting popularity by making montages of them, aimbotting pros, and then linking to their discords underneath. Cheat distributors made a lot of money using this method.
It's a great
funny is that
long-term
often
plan.
The product they were selling was just utter
Great
garbage
long-term
and
plan.
would all get players banned due to ban waves,
Guys,
which we will talk about
ever
a little
know?
bit later.
You ever see what happened to
Throughout this
Tony
time,
Montana?
Another cheat had been running
Look
rampant
up
throughout the
Icarus.
controller and console community, and that was the Cronus Zen. Now, the Cronus Zen is
That's
a
all I'm gonna
cheating
say.
device that can be used for a whole host of games, and you plug your controller into it and then that into the system. It doesn't modify the game files of Fortnite in any way.
There it is, the old
modifies
Cronus
your
Zen.
controller's inputs. And
You
the
probably
time
run into
because it
that
was
little
stronger
device.
If you were moving your
So for every rage hacker that you claim to run into, right? As I say snidely, as if discounting your hacker allegations, I know the feeling. Most people don't believe you, but you and I know there are hackers out there. That's why we're watching this video. Everybody knows it now. It's strange. It's just strange to me. But anyway, 90% of the time when you run across somebody, it's not going to be a software hack or a bot hack. It's going to be a Cronus Zen because you can buy it at your local Walmart, or maybe not anymore, but you could. I know you can. I've seen it. I seen it. I seen it. I seen it. Okay? I seen it. So I know. It's out there. It exists in the wild. The Cronus Zen. I saw a version of it, not the exact thing you're seeing on screen there, but in a Walmart about 3 years ago.
Crosshair
That's
and much
true.
weaker if you were
That's
not.
all I'm gonna
So
say.
there are a lot of
I
players
didn't buy
who had
it.
controller stick
not what
drift
I'm
for
trying
this
to say.
reason because it would continually move your crosshair and give you stronger aim assist. But the Cronus Zen had scripts that kept the aim assist more sticky by manipulating this. It also had scripts to reduce your recoil, giving you 0 recoil, along with other turbo and rapid fire scripts. The
What a
problem was
little
that it was quite
dork
difficult
over
to
here on the
detect
right.
and
Look at
see
this
if someone was
guy.
actually cheating because it was relatively subtle and didn't actually modify the game in any way.
Little
Many
dork.
of the best controller players like Miro
guys,
were
like,
accused of
showing
using it.
his
An
cheats.
unknown army even showed that he was in possession of one on his stream at some point. However, in Chapter 3, Season 4, Epic Games added it to their restricted hardware list and actually started banning people for using it. Spoiler to later in the video, but they also sued the creators of Cronus Zen and forced them to remove any Fortnite and Rocket League scripts from the device. However, real cheats were getting pretty advanced to the point that llamas had to be removed from competition because
Is that
a
true?
Discord had been created which showed the location of them in your match. Now, tournament replays ran on a 5-minute delay for the match, so 5 minutes into the game, all of the cheaters could use this Discord to find where llamas were placed. Now, that doesn't sound that strong, but at the time, they had a 100% spawn rate for a launch pad, which was the main mobility item in that season. Now, some coaches were also just going into replays while their players were in the game and scouting for llamas and launch pads, and then telling their players where they'd spawned.
Oh my god,
Fortnite changed the replay delay from
that's so not worth it. If you're like a real player, you have to recognize that is the dumbest
into this video, but unsurprisingly, the
attempt at like getting an advantage.
Lied about getting sued. It's hard to tell because Epic Games didn't actually retweet or comment on this one at all. But on top of this, Chapter 3 was just rough for hackers. With the introduction of these zero-build tournaments, this made it even easier for cheaters to flourish. In build mode, you can always build to outplay them, mainly because most cheaters are downright cheats at the game. But in zero build, there's absolutely no way to win against an aimbotter. You're just not going to out 50-50 them. Most cheaters were still trying to hide it with soft aim, but it was usually pretty easy to tell when someone was cheating. Before even looking at their gameplay, you just had to look at their Fortnite track.
What joy do you get out of cheating, though? That's what I don't get. Like, what joy do you get out of it? You know what I mean? Like, does it give you some sort of satisfaction? I imagine, like, on, like, a real, like, you know, when you, like, the same joy you get out of, like, putting a quarter into the quarter machine toy thing when you're walking out of, like, Walmart. You get, like, the little capsule for, like, it's like, oh, cool. You look at it for, like, oh, sticky hand. You smack your sister with it and then throw it in the garbage. You know? Like, that's the kind of level of joy I imagine you get out of aimbotting. But here's what makes it so, like, bad is on the other end of that, it could be somebody about to rage quit who's, like, gonna have a mental breakdown. Now, should they be over a video game? No, but, like, it matters to some people. You know what I mean? It matters to some people, not everybody, but, you know, to some. And, I guess to me, it's like, I don't know. These hackers are just making me angry. Really angry. So, carrying on.
And see how long they'd be competing for and if they had any sudden spikes in their placements or PR. The problem though is that once they were banned, they created new accounts and repeated the process. So with this strategy, many cheaters were able to get paid out earnings from the tournaments that they played, which incentivized them to continue and made cheating even worse.
See, that's the thing. If you're going to make money on it,
because of the cat and mouse nature of anti-cheat. Cheaters are almost one step
people will do crazy stuff, man, to get money.
Specifically to get around the anti-cheat. And then once that method is
so they'll always stay ahead. This little graph right here is perfect. They will always stay one step ahead to make sure if there's money on the line.
Updated, but then they create new cheats to get around this, and the cycle repeats.
But that's how it's always been. This isn't unique to Fortnite or any.
I love Roblox, but I don't have money to spend on Robux.
Anti-cheat for that matter. In fact,
victory cash
easy anti-cheat is a pretty good one.
Was qualifying to the finals and then getting
they say
victory royale. Players could qualify to the finals.
That's according to the cheaters themselves. Say that. So
you know, and then all they needed to do was cheat in one game and try and not get caught. Now the easiest way to track them was still looking at their Fortnite tracker and seeing if this was a fresh account that had just earned, well, they're probably going to be a cheater. Or if they were really horrible and had just somehow managed to get a lot of earnings in a short space of time, again, probably a cheater. So these accounts were pretty easy to spot, but a lot of cheaters were able to get earnings in tournaments, again, further incentivizing people to cheat even more. So to make their accounts less believable, rather than starting new accounts or buying old accounts from just random people, the accounts that became really interesting were ex-pro players who had quit. This is because if they made earnings, it would just look like this player came back to playing and it wouldn't be that suspicious. Now, the way regular cheats work are relatively simple. They're on your device and they alter your game files in some way. This makes them a lot easier to detect. And once the anti-cheat detects these, it might not actually ban them straight away. Instead, it might collect a bunch of data and find a lot of people who are on the exact same cheat as you and then ban you all at once, which is called a ban wave. So
that's
rather
what they
than
do.
Using a public cheat
they do
like
ban
this,
waves.
A lot of cheaters use much more
yeah, they do these ban waves. So, like, you see this happen a lot. They'll catch somebody for cheating, but that account won't get banned for like a month in some cases, 3-4 weeks. What they're doing is exactly what he just said. They're tagging the software to every single player using it, and then they mass ban them. Because apparently when they do that, it makes it way harder for them to catch up to the next anti-cheat that they produce. for whatever reason. I guess that makes sense. If you stagger it, it'll be a lot easier for people to constantly be outsmarting it, chasing its own tail. But if you do waves, there'll be a wave of no hackers shortly after, and then eventually somebody will figure out how to outsmart the new anti-cheat, which could be like 24 hours and probably is in most cases.
Private cheats. And at the same time,
If
they
that.
also used DMA, which is called
DMA. Sorry, I've been saying
now, as I
MCA.
mentioned, regular
DMA.
for the game files.
DMA is the third one.
DMA is a separate system which can read the memory.
It tricks the cheat into thinking it's a separate computer that does not have an anti-cheat on it. It's mirroring the PC, but without the cheating software on it.
Right. And alter the inputs of your keyboard and mouse to give you aimbot, or alter what you see on your monitor to give you wall hacks. So because it's not actually altering the files, this is way harder to detect.
Yeah.
Now, all this may sound familiar because I've covered this in a video already titled Exposing Hackers at the Fortnite Global Championships, where notorious OCE cheater Forbes used the account of retired pro Repulse God whilst using a private cheat on DMA to win FNCS and then qualify to the FNCS Global Championship. Now, looking at the gameplay, it was even harder to detect because Forbes himself was a very good player before he ended up quitting and cheating, but because he qualified, the real Repulse God had to come out of retirement and show up to the event in person, and he'd barely played the game at all for the last few years.
Sucked.
Every single person knew that he didn't qualify, and he was even telling the other players about it. Now, people at Epic Games absolutely knew that he was cheating, but from the outside, it seems like they didn't have enough information to confirm that he was cheating until he turned up at the event. And then, once he was there, he was banned. And surprise, surprise, later got sued. Naturally, with cheating is such a hot topic for the last 3 years in competitive Fortnite.
All right, last chapter.
Peterbot started to dominate every
right when I pause it, he brings up Pete. Okay, so this is what I've been waiting for, essentially, is what I'm pausing to say. The recent cheating allegations, because he did this chronologically and so thoroughly, it really isn't until about chapter 4, chapter 5 in his video, Reisshub's video, where I think everybody just kind of threw their hands up and went, what's going on here, Fortnite? This is too much, too many cheaters. So we're in the current chapter, the last chapter of this video, because it's chronological, I would assume brings us up to current day, maybe within the last year or two, which is when I think things have gotten out of control. So, out of control. So let's see what Reisshub has to say about stuff that has been happening as of late.
Tournament with Poyo in chapter 5, people got a little suspicious. Now, there are really a lot of thoughtless claims and some funny posts like this, which said, if Peterbot really isn't hacking, really in block capitals, he is the...
Oh, sorry. And that that brings me to Peter. Yeah. The most divisive player ever. Is he cheating? Isn't he cheating? I don't know. I really don't. I know that I've been completely immune to the cheating allegations myself because I've been on a console for 7 years. So it's been nice. Now that I've gotten onto a PC, I imagine it's easy for people to say you have hacks when you're on a PC, right? So I imagine because Peter switched from console to PC and immediately became so good on PC, everybody assumes he's cheating simply because he went to a PC. That's like his lore, right? So I don't know. I could go on forever about Peterbot and what people think about him and whether or not he is hacking. So rather than hear me rant on about it, let's hear what Reisshub has to say about it.
The greatest aim of any professional player in any game in the history of esports. Now, there was a lot of, odd-looking clips from him, but he went into the Global Championships in Chapter 5, which was a LAN event where you can't cheat, and absolutely dominated. So it turns out he's just that guy, even though he still gets called Cheaterbot, but it's no surprise.
So I'm glad Reisshub mentioned that, because that's the most important thing to mention about Peterbot's lore, is that when he went to the LAN and was incapable of having any sort of enhancements, he performed amazingly. So he put all the rumors to bed right then and there, and that's what makes Peterbot kind of the GOAT.
I had said for the previous few years, that guy as good as Peterbot got a lot of accusations. Now, cheating was still a big problem through Chapter 5, but it was Chapter 6 when Epic Games
Chapter 6, here we go.
With the release of this
The
chapter,
last
they
two
posted a
chapters
tournament integrity
in the last
blog
year,
post,
yep.
and they changed a lot. They removed victory cash cups, zero build cups, and even most normal cash cups were replaced with the divisional cup system. Now, only players in the highest division can earn, giving cheaters way more rounds to qualify through and way more chances to get caught. You can't just legitimately qualify to Division 1 without being an actual good player, which in itself got rid of a lot of cheaters. Players also now needed to play 14 tournaments in the last 180 days to enter a prized tournament. And if you were a legitimate player who played with a cheater, you'd also be banned for 20
makes
days,
it incredibly more
FNCS in that season. They also stated they'd be ramping up legal action. And boy, did they. Now, even as early as 2018, Epic Games has been suing cheat developers, and they covered all of this in a second blog post a few months later. If you follow them on Twitter, you've probably seen a lot of their tweets where they tweet out the fact that they won cases, but one of the cases was Repulse God, who we talked about earlier. As part of this, he was forced to publicly apologize, which is insanely funny, by the way, and the fact that this video has over 375,000 views makes this even better. He was forced to return all of the earnings, and Epic Games donated this to the Child's Play charity. They've at least publicly gone over 15 cases that I could find, one of which is insane. Sebastian Arujo, who had won $6,800 in earnings across 839 tournaments in 4 months. Now, we can make fun of him for being a cheating bum, but we cannot deny his work ethic, because 839 tournaments in 4 months is crazy. On average, that's like 7 tournaments a day. I don't even know if that math makes sense, I'll be honest. But do you know how much Sebastian had to pay back? $175,000. Now, it sounds a bit crazy to owe 25 times what you made, but Epic Games demanded the statutory minimum of $200 for each violation of the game's copyright. Now, when you sign up for a tournament, you agree to the game's copyright, and by cheating, you violate the copyright that you agreed to. So, 839 tournaments at $200 a pop is over $168,000. And this blog also covered them suing and winning against Cronus Zen, which I talked about earlier. They also changed some entry requirements for tournaments, which was Secure Boot and TPM needed to be enabled on your computer, and accounts need to be over level 350 to enter, which is account level, not Battle Pass level. Now, this was at the start of Chapter 6, so where does this leave us with cheating now in Chapter 7? Well, in order to cheat in a tournament, you have to have an account that's over level 350, played 14 events in the last 180 days, have TPM and Secure Boot enabled on your PC, and it'll take way longer to get an account that has these requirements because Epic has been suing account resellers, cheat developers, and cheat distributors. If you're still able to cheat in a tournament and earn prize money, Epic Games can sue you. And
guess I better not mention my $800 dark skin.
Legal fees, pay $200 for every tournament you entered, and
sell
your
it, I get
teammates
sued.
will also be banned. So in Chapter 7, there
It's
are
not
still
worth
cheaters in
nothing.
tournaments. It's always happened, and it's always going to happen. But honestly, at this point, I kind of feel bad for them because they're clearly not the sharpest tools in the shed.
That's what I'm saying.
They haven't risk assessed this. This is not worth the $100 before tax. Now, in this video, I didn't cover most of the glitches that are in competitive.
So stupid. It's so short-sighted, and they deserve everything they get
right now.
They just do. I'm sorry. So, thanks for watching, though, guys. Yeah, I guess there's not much to say. Cheaters suck. Don't be a cheater. If you're a cheater, you suck. Truly, what are you doing? What are you doing, truly? Karma's real, and it's gonna get you. So, sleep well, and thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, all you hackers out there, sleep well tonight, knowing karma's gonna get you. Karma's coming for you. Karma chameleon.